Good morning, everybody. Markets are up here, holding steady as a rock, other than the little jiggles that are going on. But yesterday, we got exactly what was expected. And yes, charts, of course, got it. Um, we were anticipating a consolidation day, just based on simply greater than 100% retracement and a wide range bar. Historically, markets stall. They did exactly that. Um, Yesterday there was that little breakout failure. It stopped right at the prior pivot low. Right? As you know, we looked to the left and new pivot low, stopped there again. And now we've got all these pivot highs, and there's simply what we call a trading range, small trading range going on. As long as it stays up here, or if we get a dip again, it springs back up again. And that would really be, what we call a tell, where we get some type of a breakdown failure, or on a higher time frame, it looks like a correction bar, where it dips down under a low and then closes strong. And then we look for the continuation. Maybe today's that day. There's some event going on, Powell speaking, whoever it is, politicians talking. So whatever they say, I guess, and they'll be meaningless, other than some jiggles that might occur, because this market only wants to go up. As mentioned, option traders are still betting that's going to happen. The real, big bets are down here, which we looked at yesterday in the green room, where there's a huge open interest in puts and calls, but they don't expire until the end of next month. So this level that I've got here, is this little consolidation, would be a relatively deep retracement. A little 50%, a little more than 50%. In reality, it shouldn't go down there. But even if it should dip down today, and of course it would have to break under these lows for us to start to think that. If it springs back up again, that would be the tell that says, hey, this thing's going to go, it's going to go higher. And there are bets up above here, money on the line, saying it's going to happen. Right? So a lot of option traders, in SPX, saying it's going to go up there. So for that reason, we really probably want to avoid anything tight, selling a call spread on SPX. And there isn't, you had to get pretty darn close to get, a small amount of premium, which was, as I looked before, was 45.10. And should it clear that high, it'd be there in probably a blink of an eye, and you'd be in some serious pain. Now, what I'd rather see is, if the market should dip, and again, we're expecting some type of consolidation, and within the consolidation, you could get a dip. So should it dip down into here, what do we do? What do we interpret as far as things maybe being okay? It creates a pivot. So, and it doesn't have to be on an hourly chart, because by the time it pivots on an hourly chart, if you're going to do SPX down here and it forms that pivot, the premium will be gone. So you're going to have to be a much more nimble than that. And, maybe even 44.75 coming down there, and a 5-minute pivot, that could be your guide. Going down into this level here at 44.45, which there's some premium there. And you don't want to be going for home run trades with this, because if you're wrong, it's going to be extremely painful. So we always take the safer bet, what we perceive to be at the time relatively sure money. And look, with news, one of these people could say something in the middle of the day that could send this thing plummeting down there, and it might rip right back up again. And I believe that it would. But in the midst of that, it's not going to be pleasant. So it's up to you. Maybe the best bet, considering potential comments, coming out sometime today. Just avoid this particular trade for today. And but personal choices, of course, it always is. Qs, new all-time highs, but consolidating again here, up here at the highs. Poked below the pivot, came right back up again. Higher pivot, just trading range. So really quiet trading in equities, but there was some real nice movers yesterday. Some crazy movers, those short squeezes, the AMCs and the GMEs, and but we talked about this bullish chart, and I can't, can't imagine. Look, this chart is one in which you look at it and you say it's got to go up. And of course, at the moment it is, and it's just stalled here, but uptrend, correction bar, sideways at the top, correction bar, continuation, 15,500. I mean, if we could get a correction bar on the daily, right? So this is the art of multiple time frames. Right? And saying, how do I combine these time frames to understand how they come together for an opportunity? Right? Versus just saying, well, I think it's going to go up to 15,550. So I'll just buy it and put a stop under the week's low. Right? Well, you could do that, but if we're all in front of screens here and saying, hey, how can I take better advantage of this bias that this market's going to go up, which could encompass some type of a breakdown on a smaller time frame, something like this. Right? So you got a 5-minute chart that's going down. That looks like a waterfall, move to the downside. And, you look at higher time frames, and this is, if I was going to be trading this in the moment, what I would be looking and thinking is trading range coming down to a pivot, bullish, yeah, a little extended, 15-minute coming down, wide range bar. It's near the end of the move, greater than 100% retracement. Oh, bottoming tail bar, drop down and look for this type of a pattern. Now, it would only be a scalper trade because of everything I've already mentioned, but this is how you put together an intraday trading plan for a counter trend trade intelligently. Looking at a few others, this came down the hardest. It looked the worst. It came down to the bottom of the range, and now it's pushed up into overhead resistance area and the declining 50 MA. Now, someone in the room yesterday asked about, I forget what the question was, but something about how everything related to retracements. And I said, that's not exactly true, but it's a powerful concept. And again, the whole idea of MTS is the combination of concepts and understanding them to build a thought process. So when we look at this time frame, which now we would say it's in a sideways trend right here, the depth of this retracement leads us to a neutral to bullish bias, right? But it's into this area of resistance here. And the depth of this retracement tells me in my higher time frame, there's a bullish pattern going on because it's in the area of a prior low. And so this weekly chart, while still in a trading range, and again, this bar is in progress of being done. I don't know what it's going to look like at the end of the day. This could wind up driving it all the way down here, but this is what we have right now to discuss as if it was a completed bar. I would be looking for some type of consolidation at the top. Right? We always talk about consolidations at the top of a wide range bar, and then looking for this to push higher. Now, if this had dropped all the way down here and formed a climactic type of buy and a retest pattern, that would be wonderful. But this market doesn't want to go down other than these little blips, and an hourly chart in the trading range here. It's up against this resistance. This is likely to get a correction bar, run in place, trying to push higher here. It might go a little higher, up or right up to the top of the pivots. But, the bulk of the easy money has been had as far as this move goes. Breath yesterday, we could take a look at that. YM, did nothing. And breath yesterday gives me a thought, McGraw, of if breath was so good, why did the market go nowhere? Well, because other than the market, what was moving yesterday? Bringing up the rear stuff, right? The junk, which is participating in playing catch up. So, the excellent breath, and I haven't really looked at it. I know it's come up quite a bit from that minus 2000 level. It's up near around zero where the market usually stalls. So this is correcting so far, relatively bullishly, but it's underperforming now. Bitcoin, pulling back a little bit. It's correcting here. Upper resistance normal. Still looks like it can go higher. Oil came nicely off of the low. It's in a downtrend. Depth of retracement. Look at the size of that weekly bar. Gold up at resistance. Pulling in here a little bit. There's a lot of running in place lately. Silver running in place. Transports. You can see this is kind of representative of what I'm saying. The catch-up trades, things coming up off of the lows here and up against some resistance. But going into today, it's hard to imagine that we're going to get much of a move one way or the other. But intraday there may be whips up and down. We'll see how it plays out. Interest rates are sitting there really doing nothing. Right, there's the 10-year, but a little bit and backed off. And as far as, let's see which page that is. Is it here? Internals coming off of the low. Because of this move up, we're poked back down. And sentiment had improved down into these lower bands. Let's see if I have one for a day-to-day here. No. No, I don't have at the moment. What time is it? There's a little bit of time here. No, I can't do it that way. So this is the day-to-day breath, and it was pretty decent yesterday at 1174, but it certainly wasn't because of the broader markets or the stocks that have been moving the broader markets, which we all know what they were. So looking at other stocks that have underperformed, the improvement of breath is a positive, of course, even though this has gone nowhere. Just the same as this, the breath, whether it was going down over here where the market was going up, right? This advance where it was staying under zero, that wasn't a positive, and that, came home to roost. And look, what we'll see if this pokes up as it should, right? Just based on the trend, and this pushes above 4,500 or better, right? This breath will then eventually It's been a long time since it's been up here at this plus 200. While because the stocks driving this up are concentrated. It's not a broad market, advance where you've got so many stocks that are going up in unison, where this breadth gauge gets up there to that plus 200. Let's hit 100, but look at how long during this advance that it's been below zero, or give or take. So like, we all know that this isn't a throw the dart type of a market like we've seen it in the past, but still looks like it's going to go higher. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Yeah, we were saying as long as we get another bullish, like either continuation bar, like you said, or just consolidation of some sort, spiders look amazing. Spiders and Qs. And all right, so all of our opens are fine. Themes yesterday. Wow, meme stocks. The Reddit boys had a field day. We actually had a bullish option trade on this, so we caught that run. I posted GME as a long watch, and I think I was out over lunch, and this thing blasted. But there's your no-brainer entry right there. BB. Look at BB breakout here, bottoming pattern. I love when the 20 MA gets tight and flat on the 200. That is an awesome pattern right there. And then you got your no-brainer. This is you should print this and put it in. It's of a great pattern, great moving average analysis, great bottoming action, multiple time frame alignment, broke out in the morning. A small little 180 reversal, 2 o'clock reversal. I mean, everything was so beautiful. Clove, I mean, there's a number that these boys like to play with, but AMC we'll still keep an eye on, and with the BB, as I said. Kramer was really on a rampage this morning, talking about being all upset about the virus here, not the virus, the vaccines only lasting 6 months. But you know what? He did make a good point that I'm not going to get into vaccine stuff right now, but he's like, look, if it only lasts 6 months, then the governor of Texas should come out and say, totally optional. Get off my back. It only lasts 6 months. It's like taking a flu shot. Smyrna, no pattern of NRG. I posted this as a long, beautiful consolidation here. Beautiful consolidation, bullish engulfing. Yesterday is a correction bar. Today's Wednesday, traded under Tuesday and under Monday's low. Bullish close, bullish weekly. That looks fantastic. John's asking about Amazon put spread. If it's far enough away, the only problem is you missed your ideal entry. We did one on Monday, after gap up after the bottoming tail. So Monday was the ideal place to do it. We actually closed it in the strength yesterday at 12 cents. But, as long as it's under this prior low, it looks fine. Yeah, Pfizer, J&J now is all over the news. But now they want to pump a second one. I agree. All right, so that I like. McGraw gave me a couple infrastructure stocks here. I like Geld. It's a buy setup on the 20. It made the turn. And I like VMC. This one, deep retracement on the 20. It's made the turn. So VMC looks great. I posted that. These other ones, McGraw, I don't know, I guess, let them go sideways a little bit more, but bullish weekly. Builder, you missed your entry, although it's bullish weekly. We just don't buy after 4 updates like that. Trex too extended, pullback, but bullish. EXPR had earnings, and I think this one also is a Reddit boy toy. But it was up this morning. Now it's getting hammered a little bit. McGraw, you mentioned dunking, and I mentioned it yesterday also. It's an inverse head and shoulders breakout on the weekly. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. The only problem is I wish it had a better void. But I said yesterday, yeah, target 60 looks manageable. Again, it's just, it's up four bars. So 15-minute is still bullish, is very bullish, 15-minute. So for day trade, I don't mind it, but not my strike zone for a new swing. Bug, I guess all this going by the ticker. Bug is a ETF for look at that. That's strong. Jim Myrna, there's no pattern. It's gapping down here, maybe 30-minute low day trade, but I'm totally neutral on it. Still, it has rising 20, 50, 200. You got a nice gap reversal here that's holding. So it's in a little trading range. RGC, something's up with that this morning. Look at that, 30 bucks. Look at that, it's a double. The stock is doubled from yesterday's close. So I got no interest in that. OPCH gapping up. This was a beautiful breakout setup. The 20 and the 50 and red bar ignored. That was nice down here. Extended now. JFM 440. Yeah, it could be the start of a bottoming pattern. But you got those railroad track declining. AMC we talked about. Pfizer. Well, I've been talking about this being a climactic sell setup, and when it did not, take out the prior highs on Monday with the news of full vaccine, that just gave me additional confidence that it looked like a short-term high. So look at the 15-minute chart. This is what we call an end of day base. See, it collapsed in the morning. The rest of the day, it's in the bottom third. Yeah, thanks, FT. That's a good observation. Yeah, I like the higher volume. So this is a day trade short candidate. Yeah, pack. Airbnb was on fire yesterday. I don't know if this was the news or not, but I just saw some headline in the journal today. Oh, really, Stephen? That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, they claim, FDA claims not to be political. Yeah, right. Just like the Fed, they claim not to be non-political. Yeah, right. Right. They're, the Fed needs the low interest rates to finance their friggin' asinine spending. I saw some headlines saying something about Afghans. I don't know. I don't even care, but that had a power bar yesterday. Let's keep an eye on that for some type of consolidation. Jose SNTG. It's coming out of a coma, nice pre-market on the 15 there. So that's, yeah, it looks fine. Yeah, stop under this 15-minute pivot over here, the closing pivot. RB saying buy setup on BTC monthly. Do you mean, oh, you mean BTC is Bitcoin? It's Birdie on my thing. Monthly buy setup. It's a sloppy one that's already triggered, and it's not a quality one either, because we like controlled pullbacks on buy setups, and this is a rally into a nasty igniting bar from a climactic sell setup. So that's the biggest monthly red bar in the stock's history, right? So, you know, so the monthly is 100% meaningless to me. We'd be trading smaller time frames. Q's coming out of the gate slinging, but the other three horsemen are getting smacked.
Looks like semis are leading the way.
Cisco here. Remember earnings? Oh, that this gap reversal on earnings. Look at that. That is, those are power bars. Yeah, SMH. Wow. We still have a put spread on this.